What an amazing woman is Sheila Massey. She thought, here I am in Brooklyn. There's an awful lot of cats and there's a lot of rats, and people are doing horrible things to try and stop the rats, which isn't working. Sheila, you invented, created, founded Hard Hat Cats, and it's just the most marvelous website, for one thing. You have the cat in every place that you have a cat, with their name and their photo, and hotels, breweries, stores, restaurants. When did this idea come to you? I really take my hat off to you and the Hard Hat Cats.
I tell you, I had experience doing trap, neuter, return when
Right?
I lived in Manhattan. And I saw how having a colony in my neighborhood, and this was not a salubrious neighborhood in Manhattan, but having a cat colony. I actually had 4 colonies in about a 3 or 4 block radius. You know what? We were rat free.
Wow.
My interest was really TNR. Let's take care of
Yes.
them so they don't breed, get them vaccinated. And then I saw this coincidental, wonderful side effect of rat control. And I realized that where the cats were resident, in other words, once you feed them every day, give them shelter, and they know they're going to get that regular food, they stay put. Cats are just
Yes.
big opportunists. So they just stay put and take up residence. So I saw that instead of cats, we had cats, rats, raccoons roaming. But once you have them resident where they stay put, they get fed, sheltered, etc., the rats just take off. And another rescuer, you may have interviewed him or know of him, Mike Phillips from Urban Cat League.
I don't, but you'll introduce me and I'll have him on too.
He's terrific. He once said, and he always says, female rats will not nest where the predator lives. So,
Ah,
so I saw that as a fact of life. And neighbors who even had told me, "Oh, I don't like cats. I don't know what you do. What I don't like what you're doing with TNR, feeding the cats." They were thankful. They loved the cats. They could walk home anytime, night or day, and never saw a rat. When I moved to Brooklyn because I got a better, cheaper apartment, there really weren't any cats in my neighborhood because it's kind of downtown Brooklyn, very concretey. So I just took that example and started looking online for working cat programs. And I saw that there was something in Chicago, there was a program
yes.
in Philly, etc. So I thought, let's do this. I know it works. So I approached some breweries because this was to the end of 2019, and craft brewing was just getting to be a
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
All these young hip Brooklyn.
That's right.
So people were starting these craft breweries. So I sent out a mass email to about 10 of them. And one of them responded about, look, this is what I can do for you. And it is non-toxic rodent control. You don't have to use an exterminator anymore. You're doing a good deed because I
Yes.
take cats out of the city shelter. I don't just take any old cat. I take
Right.
unadoptable feral
Yes.
cats that
Yes.
nobody wants because they're mean. They don't want to be on your sofa. They don't want to be on my sofa. So I say these are the best employees in the world because during the day they're going to hide. They're going to hide
Yes.
from employees. They'll hide from customers. They don't want anything to do with people.
That's right.
They'll come out and prowl at night. This one brewery in Sunset Park, Five Boroughs Brewing.
Oh, I know that one. It got really famous.
Yeah, and the beer is good.
Is that right?
If you like a good IPA, I do.
I hope you get free beer from this.
I do.
Oh, good. That's adorable. There's an unintended consequence. That's
Well,
great.
actually, now we've really uncovered the real.
I knew this was all
No,
about the
here.
beer.
Anything for a free beer.
Oh, you're adorable.
So anyway, they had some complaints about rats, and it really was a scrubby industrial neighborhood, and they were in an old building, of course, that they had revamped. And so they took 3 cats. It was my first placement. And these 3 cats were young kittens who had been born of a feral mother outdoors.
Right.
And they were at the shelter and they had flunked out of
Oh,
they had flunked out of the Tiny Tigers socialization program. All three of them refused to be
wow.
allowed.
Isn't that interesting?
So they were three siblings, and Five Boroughs Brewing took all three, and the rest is history. Then the word spread to other
Yes.
breweries who really liked the concept and they liked the cleanliness of it.
Yes.
When you have cats, okay, you've got a cat bowl, you've got a litter box, but you don't have all these rat poison bait blocks sitting around.
Right. Or the rats themselves and their diseases and their feces, etc.
There we go. And now we hear more about this hantavirus
Yeah.
and leptospirosis
Yep.
has been growing over the past 5 years in the city. I know there's been one death, but there might have been even more. But anyway, these cases are growing. And of course, rats, if you get away from breweries and industrial sites, they do tend to harm more the underprivileged people in poor neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And they get into these apartments and can bite the kids.
That's right. That's
So,
right. It's really interesting. The breweries clearly have sacks of grain. Is that the attraction for the rats? Sacks of grain to make beer, right?
oh, you bet. These bags of grain are huge. And some of them are, especially for craft brewing, because they are constantly experimenting with different
Right.
products from
Yes.
regions. A big stack of grain can cost $200.
Wow.
$200, and then you get some rodent nibbling into the corner of it or the edge of it. Do you know what? They throw it out.
They have to. They have no choice.
They have no choice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
That's the attraction. But of course, in other boroughs, because you're now in other boroughs, a restaurant has refuse. And no matter how well they bag it, it's there and it smells delicious to a rat. I think that the New York Times had an article about the horrible ways people had come up with to kill these rats, and it was really disturbing. It was a vat of some kind of poisonous liquid. It would drop them into it. Another one spun them and broke their necks. I don't know. It was way complex and quite horrible.
I agree with you. I really agree. I feel years ago, I, like a lot of people, was very ill. I had got cancer. And I often think I probably owe rats a great
Oh,
because whatever chemotherapy drugs they gave me really
you're
took.
right.
And I think all of us benefit from these mammals that actually can be quite friendly and affectionate.
Think of Charlotte's Web in Templeton. Who doesn't love Templeton the rat, who was snacking on all the refuse from the country fair?
Yeah.
Or people who have rats as pets. And apparently
Yeah.
the ones that are raised to be pets are brilliantly affectionate and responsive and fun. So it's not that rats are dreadful, it's that rats run wild in urban neighborhoods, cause havoc. You're right about Chicago. You know, there's actually a waiting list because they will bring a whole colony. So the attached to this county shelter or the city shelter, there's a waiting list in these various neighborhoods, and they will bring you a colony. But then, of course, somebody there has to be willing to be responsible for them. But it's a proven urban protector. I looked at the adorable pictures. People have to go to hardhatcats.org. It's just a great website, Sheila. And I look at some of these cats and I think, but wait a minute, this cat's the size of a large rat. This is a little cat, but they're not there to kill the rats. They're there to deter them, right?
You got that. Yes, exactly. I have to explain that to the brewers.
Yes.
I say, you know what? There may be a little bit of carnage at the beginning, but don't be looking for it because
Right.
the female rats are going to pick up and move out. They aren't going to nest there anymore, and the male rats are going to follow. So you are really not going to see much carnage at all. It really is just
Right.
a deterrent.
So how much bigger can you get? How big do you think you are compared to your first Five Boroughs brewery? Do you have 100 working cats right now?
I'd say it's more like 70 to 80 working cats. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I thought I need to do a head count. Yeah, we got really slow during COVID, and then it perked up again. And even though I would love to be able to emulate what they do in Chicago, where people are standing in line, because I have tried to market this. I'm not a marketer, and it seems like most of the referrals I get are word of mouth. I also went to the city of New York when we had that rat czar a couple
Yes,
of years
yes,
ago. And I approached her, Miss Karate, and I said, look, you can add this to your business model. This is
yes,
working cats businesses. I don't charge a fee. This is pro bono. It's a methodology. It's a whole program of how to, and you
yes,
help New York businesses. And there's so many wins. Like you
yes,
mentioned, they save money, they save a cat's life, which the shelter is really good on maintaining and keeping
yes,
animals, but some of them just get ill from the stress. And
absolutely.
that's the downfall, really, is just the illness or what gets circulated
Or
in the.
as you said, the ones who flunk, the ones who just don't want to be an apartment cat or a human loved cat. And
Yeah,
now
or
they have a life that they will enjoy and they'll
yeah.
give great value to the people who they're helping. So, what did the rat czars say to you?
Oh, like city government, nothing. A couple of times and never got a reply. And I put in links because we'd been on Japanese TV and
Wow.
been specials on NBC and Time Out New York. You know what? They just blow it off. And I said, this has a lot of advantages. And one of them that I just always have to point out is this is great for the raptor birds because the Audubon
Right.
Society and Wild Bird Fund and the other big bird societies are begging the city to
Yeah.
stop using rat poison. And they
Yes.
started with saying, please don't put rat poison in the parks at least, because what happens is that there was a study that showed that 84% of dead raptors, the hawk
Yes.
owls like Flacco,
Yes.
84% of them had rat poison in them.
Oh, no. And then
Yeah,
you have the people walking their dogs. We all know why people have walked their dogs and come on the rat poison in Central Park and other parks.
yeah. And animals can die by this kind of relayed effect. In other words, if they eat or bite into something that has rat poison in the system, certainly a cat might go for a slow mouse or rat. I don't know about dogs, but if they get a little bit in that system, rat poison is so powerful. It can
No, I
kill.
mean, the dogs actually eat the rat poison. The
They do.
rat poison's put out in the bushes. My sister had a dog and had to have vitamin K and they hemorrhage internally. It's quite awful. I
I
mean,
didn't
it's,
realize they ate
yes,
rat
the,
poison.
sure, a dog, and it's made to be delicious, at least to a
That's
rat. And
true.
to some
Peanut
dogs,
butter.
they'll eat just about anything.
Yeah, peanut butter is one of the flavors. You're
Well, there
right.
you go. And what does a dog love more than peanut butter? Not a lot. So,
Yeah,
and anyway, toxifying the environment, and it doesn't work. How
it
about
doesn't
that?
work.
Maybe some of the male rats ate some, but meanwhile, it's the breeding females that's your issue. And they
Well,
found,
you know what? My theory is the reason it doesn't work in a big urban center like New York is that a rat needs about 1 ounce of food a day. Tracy, I can walk out the door here and I can find an ounce of
yes,
food
you can.
on the street.
Yep.
And so they don't go in the bait blocks a lot of times.
Right.
They're satiated. We have so much food on the street, castaway food in the
Yes,
garbage bags and stuff,
you're right.
that really they feast on the
Yeah.
streets. And a lot of them, maybe some of the junior rats or young rats or juveniles go in, but a lot of the old rats that know their way around, they don't even go into the bait blocks. They don't have
Right.
to go into the bait.
Right. And a rat can live to 8 or 9 years old, which I only know because from my show Exotic Pets, when people have them as pets, they're devastated when their rat dies, but they have a long lifespan. It's
I
not like a
didn't,
butterfly, 8 or 9 years. So
I
you
didn't know.
want, as you said, the older they get, the wilier they get. So what we
Yeah.
want to say is to anyone with a New York City business, any sort of business where you've had any sign of rats, Hard Hat Cats is the way to go. And those silly rat czar, it's also helping the city because the city shelter is
Yeah.
such, hello, the city shelter certainly should have the support of other parts of the city mechanism, if you will, government or politics. They take in so many animals and they work so hard to socialize them, Stephen
Yes, they do.
Quant of Cat Behavior Consultants, who introduced us. He's there
Yep.
all the time, socializing the cats, helping them be more adoptable, but a lot of them aren't. And
Yeah.
overcrowding is just a big issue. So,
Every cat and dog, every intake costs the city about $2,000 an animal. You know,
wow.
they take in thousands a year.
And consider how many of the people especially in the cat department, are volunteers. They're not even paid. So that $2,000 doesn't factor in the free love labor of those volunteers.
That's
So,
very true. That is
yeah,
so
what you're doing is amazing. I hope people who hear this will think, okay, who do I know with a business in New York City that would love to adopt a cat that doesn't want their friendship, just wants a can of food and a litter box? So once a day, you do those two things, and the cat will stay there, out
They
of
will.
sight.
And live independently.
Yes.
And one other bonus, which I never counted on, it wasn't part of my business plan, is these businesses have all come back to me and said it has boosted employee morale so
Oh,
much.
how nice.
I was so shocked. These are feral cats, but what happens is the employees, the businesses fall in love with the cats. The
I'll be
cats
darned.
they get employee of the month every month.
Oh, the humans have to be second employee of the month. Sheila Massey, really, Hard Hat Cats is a brilliant idea, and you've expanded it so marvelously.
You're a dog.
You started with Five Boroughs Brewery. You aren't yet in all five boroughs, are you? But
No.
you'd like to be. But you'd like to be.
Well,
Staten Island, maybe?
Yeah, actually I was, but they closed one of the ones in the Bronx. So yeah.
Okay, so everyone listening, think of anyone you know in New York City, or you might be that person who has a business and wants to do a good deed and keep rats out of their environment. It's all good. Sheila, you rock. You really are an amazing person. Thank you so much for your inventiveness and your relentless desire to do good for all these creatures and humans. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.